right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in to The Source, WOCA. It is time for Horse Sense with the Equine Alliance of Marion County. We're going to learn again about these beautiful large horses. Oh, I sent Crystal something. I need to ask you if you saw it, Crystal. Crystal Fernandez is here. Mark Shepard is here. Good morning to both of you. And the phone lines are open. If you would like to be on the show, the number is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, which is 622-9622. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning,
Larry.
How are you, Larry?
Good. Crystal, did you see the video I sent you? Or maybe somebody else showed it to you before? It's this cameraman. They're doing a show about horses, and they're in a stable, and there's one cameraman, and he's got his back up against the stable.
Oh, and the horse.
And the horse is like biting his ear, and the guy's very good about it. I mean, the guy obviously was comfortable with horses, and the gigantic teeth of the horse is just coming down.
I did see that.
Yeah.
If that was a different horse, he would have not came away with that ear, but... Yeah.
Oh, really? Some horses are gentler than others?
Well, yeah, it depends on the horse. If you're in a training barn, those horses are like,
They're mean?
No, they're not mean, but they
just don't know how to be
They're on
easy?
the muscle, kind of
okay.
deal. And some horses are nicer than other horses,
I thought that guy must know that horse. I mean, they must know each other, the horse and
Or it's just a horse that's like probably in like a riding stable or something that's used to lots of people around and always getting treats. And he probably figured there was a morsel of something in there somewhere.
So you saw it when I sent it to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And they weren't speaking English either, so I had no idea what they were saying.
So it wasn't an American horse.
So how you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We're going to be having a meeting, I believe, next week. We're going to start gearing up already for the winter and spring, all the stuff that goes on in Marion County with all the horse stuff, and we're already starting to kind of plan on that for that kind of thing. We did the Live Oak live remote, and talked to Damien Guthrie about doing that again, and already starting to plan.
Oh, nice. And is the horse park going to be used for more now that they get this big?
Oh, yeah.
Is that building done yet or not yet?
Not yet, but it's close.
Getting close.
Last time I was by there, the roof was done. Mm-hmm. They got money last year for that, and this year they got $2 million for barns.
Oh, okay.
So as soon as it's all, I guess, a continuing project. So the next thing they'll do, the way I understand, is they'll start building barns. I don't know how many stalls, but they'll start doing that. A friend of mine, along the same lines, Marion County continues to attract and grow and expand up on the north end of town, not too far from the FedEx site, is football field. Do you know the football field that's up there? Mm-hmm. And several years ago, an investor built a football field up there for a youth football league. And so they played football up there for a couple of years, and that property has been vacant for a couple of years now. Recently, someone in that part of the world up there bought it, and it has a grandstand, and it's got bathrooms, and it's got big lights for the football field, etc. They bought it. They're going to build, and they've already started building an arena up there.
Oh, wow.
Presently, that arena will not be covered, but it will be a rodeo arena for more, youth-type rodeo events and adult, not just youth-type rodeo events, but also adult events and ropings, etc. I stopped up there and saw those people earlier this week. Had never been on it when it was a football field, but it's neat. I mean, a whole lot of infrastructure is already there, and they're physically going to build that arena on about the same dimensions as what was that football field.
Wow, that'd be huge.
So, so it's a nice big arena, and it's pretty neat.
And you guys have a phone call. You want to take the phone?
Sure.
Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for calling. Hello, are you there? Going once, going twice. It still shows there's somebody there. Okay. If you want to call, the number is 622-9622. Crystal Fernung and Mark Shuffett will answer your horse-related questions. Well, that's pretty... I went for the very first time to the horse park for the Habitat for Humanity volleyball mud thing that they were doing.
Mm-hmm. And I saw your video on that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And it was just so wonderful.
Beautiful.
I just never realized how expansive it was. Just so large.
And when Brett and I first came to Ocala, that was part of the canal property that was supposed to...
Is that right?
It was supposed to go across Florida. Yeah, the farm that we were on then was Lassiter Farm. And where BG Equestrian Estate is now was what was called Cashel Stud. And they leased that land that is now the horse property. And they had built a prefab barn and stuff on it. But it was just... land that was never used for anything, but it's beautiful out there.
It was going to be a canal. I'm glad they didn't make a canal.
That was part of the old canal property.
Well, that's where you hear about the in Marion County, out on I guess Maricamp, where the sheriff has the work farm.
Right.
That's on that greenway. It used to be called the Barge Canal property. It's now called the Greenway.
Oh, that area also?
Yeah. So years ago, and I don't know the date, Florida bought up land from the Atlantic to the Gulf.
Yeah.
They actually started a barge canal on the Atlantic side.
Yeah, I've seen.
And, whatever distance, they scrubbed the project. But the state had still purchased all this land from one side, coast to coast. And so what the state has done in different ways that's one of the horse park.
Trails and stuff like that.
Trails and I think I know the sheriff's farm is out there. The Marion County 4-H farm is on the opposite corner.
That Marjorie Harris, whatever it's called, Greenway, that's the same thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So used like that across the state. So most of that stuff has been back in trails.
There's another trail in Citrus County. I guess it begins. It's called the Withlacoochee Trail. It used to be a railroad track, and alongside where you can bicycle is a dirt track for for horses. I've never seen horses, but that's what it looks like it's used for.
Yeah, a lot of the greenway around here has designated horse track where people, it's kind of like a lot of those kind of things that you go through from across the country. There's sections of it that's for pedestrians and sections of it that's for bicyclers and sections of it that are, and some of the bicycle stuff is, nice and smooth, and some of it's the off-terrain kind of stuff where they can do that. And then there's a section that's just for horses. So if you spend much time out on the greenway, it's not unusual to see horses out there.
Have you seen we have a lot of unique stuff here in horse capital of the world. The land bridge across the interstate.
Oh, yeah.
That was built, people use it, but that was built for horses.
Mostly for horses, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
That's what it was built for.
I often wonder if other wildlife are smart enough to say, that's a smarter way.
Well, they did it even going up towards University. They built the areas underneath the culverts, underneath the road, so the gators and turtles and stuff could go underneath the road.
Right.
They'll take the path of least resistance for sure.
Or most likely to live, right?
Yes, yeah.
I guess they would know, huh?
Yeah. So, but today we've got, I know you were going to read some information Tammy forwarded to us. Did you have that?
Yes. Down in the Villages this weekend, I thought this was pretty cool. The Longshot Derby winner movie, it's going to premiere in the Villages this weekend.
Oh, really?
And the movie is entitled 50 to 1, and it's the story of the underdog Kentucky Derby winner, Mind That Bird. So it's now coming to the big screen in Central Florida this Saturday at the Old Mill Playhouse at Lake Sumter Landing. It's rated PG-13, so you can take everybody. Showing at 11:40 a.m., 1:40 p.m., 4:10 p.m., 6:40, and 9:10 p.m. According to the film's producer, who's a racing enthusiast, the film is authentic as possible. It's filmed at 40 locations across New Mexico, which is where Mind That Bird came from, Kentucky, California, and include the actual tracks where the horses ran. And in the movie, the horse in the movie actually stays in the same barn as he did, as Mind That Bird did when he was at the Derby at Churchill Downs there in Louisville.
Do you know the story on Mind That Bird?
No.
Chuck Woolley was the trainer on him, and he came from that same area where all this is going to be, and he actually trailered him to the Derby in like a gooseneck trailer kind of deal.
Oh,
I mean, it was
Horse trailer.
It's one of those kind of stories where, a Rocky kind of deal, where he
Wow.
came from
Nothing.
nothing fancy and nothing famous, and comes to the big show and wins the race.
Wow, I love those kind of
And
stories.
Chuck Woolley broke his leg
Oh, wow.
right before the Derby. So yeah,
he drove across country
Wow.
with the busted leg, and so when interviewing him on TV, he's on crutches.
and he wins the Derby, and he's on crutches, and he's trying to,
wow.
yeah, it was one of those kind of crazy stories that only can happen in the horse industry.
Wow. Wow.
I love that story. I wrote an article that I started that retelling of his story. What tickles me about that, or what I like about that story, is the reporters. And you know how the sports reporters are, especially those that don't seem to cover horses a lot, or to me, they don't seem to know very much when they're at the track. Anyway, that's just a little pet peeve. But they keep
Probably
asking,
happens a lot.
they keep asking Chuck, so they're asking him about trailering this horse. Now, Larry, you're from around this area, drive around all the time, so you see plenty of horse trailers.
Right.
Okay, so they're nice, big, tall, wide windows, airy, all that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with the horse riding in the trailer. Horses do it in Ocala, Marion County, horse capital world, every day, right?
Right.
We put them on somewhere, we take them somewhere, and there's plenty of horses that go from here, of all different breeds, to the Midwest and the Great West. Kids or juniors and adults that qualify through the season for national finals, rodeo events. Most of those are in Oklahoma, Wyoming, all that kind of stuff, Texas. And so they leave here in that trailer, and they go that way. They stop and they rest and they spend the night, and then they get up and they drive the next day. So Chuck brings his horse to the Derby in a trailer like we do all the time, not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
What the reporters wanted to talk to him about was, well, tell me about driving, and tell me about trailering, and tell me about, driving with the busted leg, and you drove the horse in here, or whatever.
Oh.
And he shut him down. It's like, look, if you want to ask me a question about my horse, let's talk about my horse. Let's not talk about my trip here.
They were trying to go after some glitchy, unique story, to go along
Interesting.
with. But,
Well, maybe,
trainer wants to talk about his horse.
So what is the feeling, that it was intentional because they had some kind of a agenda, or do they just not know enough to know?
Well, a lot of the reporters, aren't.
They're just not horse people.
They're just not horse people, so-
they see the other horses fly in.
Oh,
and they're
wow.
like,
I got to make a mental note. If I'm ever assigned that kind of a thing, I'll have to have you come with me. Because
Okay.
I wouldn't know
Sure,
what to
be glad
ask.
to go.
Yeah. But that's happened actually to me, where I'm thrust into something that I don't have a clue, and
well, neither did they.
I try, or maybe I'll look something up and, kind of cram for it the day before. And so, yeah. We have a phone call.
Okay.
Take that phone call, and then we'll do the weather, and we'll catch up on the sponsors and all that.
Okay.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, horse people.
Good morning. How are
morning.
you?
When you transport a horse by aircraft, is there any preparation? Do you have to maybe slightly sedate the horse or cover its eyes, or is there anything that you have to do to make that horse comfortable in an airplane, or even getting on an airplane?
Well, it depends on the horse and how often they've done it. You might have to give them a little something to get them up on there, just to kind of calm their nerves a little bit. But you usually have an attendant flying with the horse.
Sir, do you fly?
I fly, yes.
Do you take any medication or any other help before you get on the plane?
It's called vodka.
Vodka. Okay. Well, with a horse, the only trouble you would have is because they usually use a lift, and they lift them up, and they just kind of walk on. So they might be a little nervous about, the noise and all that kind of stuff because they really don't understand what they're looking at, new situation. But once they get in there, horses sleep standing up, a lot of them, majority of the time they lock their knees and can go to sleep. But depending on how much space is on the plane and how much you want to pay, they can also have a box stall, which is an area big enough for the horse to lay down. So
they can ride up front with the captain if you pay enough.
But there is.
Is there like a private company that ships horses?
Yep.
There's several.
Yeah, there's several of them that do that.
And
is it expensive, or would it be cheaper to trailer the horse?
Well, it's probably
has a lot to do. That has a lot to do with the timing. I mean,
the timing. And it's a little more tiring on the horse to be in a horse trailer from Florida to say California.
Would you rather ride in a car from here to Las Vegas, or would you rather fly?
Yeah. See, so it's just not as much time that the horse is having to travel. The same as, like Mark said, getting in a car and driving from here to California, as opposed to flying. The horse can get there quicker, it can get in the stall, it can get relaxed, so it's just, and if it's a big enough, more, important enough race, and your horse, obviously you think it has a chance, so you wouldn't have it in there. So they're going to, do what's going to be the least stressful for the horse.
A lot of these horses that fly, I mean, horses are creatures of habit, and a lot of these horses that fly, I mean, they fly like professionals. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's part of their deal. Some of them actually enjoy it.
So from their perspective, it's like riding in a trailer.
Sure.
Really. They don't really know much, and there's no anxiety about flying because they don't realize.
They don't
fly.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bit, on takeoff, landing. The first time a horse is going to do it, they're going to sedate them a little bit just so they can kind of not be too. They've never experienced it before, but usually once they've done it, they're okay, this again.
Well, we have to do a quick weather, and that'll give you an opportunity to mention your sponsors, and we'll be right back. This is WOCA.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A blend of sun and clouds today with a couple of thunderstorms around this afternoon and evening, the high 88 to 92. Partly cloudy overnight, low 72 to 76. Clouds and sun tomorrow with a couple of thunderstorms around during the afternoon and evening hours, high 88 to 92. For Sunday, partly sunny with an afternoon thunderstorm, high 90 to 94. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
7 minutes before 10 o'clock, let's rejoin Horse Sense with the Equine Alliance of Marion County today. Crystal Furnung and Mark Shefford in the studio, and 87 degrees, just to tell you the temperature. Mark and Crystal, throw it back to you.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our sponsors. We've got, of course, first off, I'm going to mention our Facebook page, Horse Sense. On Facebook, easy, and there's tons of stuff on there. We post stuff on there every day. We're pretty good about, we're in a little arrangement with Frankie Lovato with his 365 days of terminology and his videos.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so, we put stuff up there that he puts on there. So it's, again, all about our connect, communicate, and educate. So we try and put a lot of stuff up there that helps do that or directs you to different places that you can learn more about it, watch videos and that kind of stuff. But we've got Infinite Natural Day Spa is one of our sponsors. They're over on Magnolia, and it's just an absolutely beautiful place, very unique kind of spa here in town. They've been very active in trying to connect with the horse community. They sponsored a table at this year's annual awards dinner, and they've been very, very involved. The owner helps OBS with translation some on Japanese, and she's fluent in Japanese, so she's found a way to kind of make that connection in there. Of course, Almirall Arabians, I know Dory was out there for their horse sale a couple of weeks ago. She went out there to see them. FTBOA, which is Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association. They don't necessarily just concentrate on thoroughbreds. They have Horse Capital Digest, which also covers other breeds and disciplines, and they're very active at HITS and Live Oak. El DeMarco Photography, Lou and Lydia, they've we made connection with them through Craigslist. We were looking for.
Oh, really?
Yep, looking for photographers for all these little things that we do, and so we're not trying to capture stuff on our iPads and stuff and try and put it all together. So.
Yeah, look at the website. I mean, if you don't do anything else, look at that Facebook page, and they take incredible photographs.
And I found them, just kind of put a thing on Craigslist, and they were from New York area. They'd moved down here. They both are wonderful photographers, and I've just said I'm looking for somebody who wants to make a way into the equine capital here and find ways to find jobs shooting horse events and stuff. And so we use the old barter system where we get them in and they take pictures, and they can.
Do you know one thing? You mentioned pictures and horses at the Appleton Museum. Like when you see these old paintings of like these military scenes, and there's like a general on a horse. The horse's neck is always like up. It's like doing something. I don't know if that's like an artist's idea, or do horses really do that in battle?
Well, they're usually great big drafty horses, that they wanted to use, that were strong, but they're putting them in a tense situation. So I'm guessing they're trying to make the horse look.
So it's not as pretty as it's pretty, I guess, is not the right word, but when I drive around here and I see these horses, they're not doing that. They're not lifting their neck.
Not usually.
Well, they're not in a war.
They're not in a war. That's true. And the Blue Jays band who wrote our theme song.
Right.
And
really
that
nice
was fun
guys.
with those guys. They were. I had seen them, heard them play at a couple of like little private event things, and. When we were putting the Facebook page and going to do the radio show, and you guys told me, you need in and out music, and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. So I thought about them and said, I need a song. We need a song. So we got together with them, and they talked, and kind of got an idea of what it was like to live this kind of life, and they were great. They wrote
awesome.
a perfect song. And then one that's not on our website yet, but Advanced Payroll and Benefits, I believe is the name of it. I got to get that right. And actually, they do. So, like, if you were want to use a payroll company, they can arrange that for you. And actually, my company, Journeyman, is using them now. So I went through them to get to go to a payroll system.
Yeah.
It makes it life a whole lot easier.
Sure does. Yeah, I know.
Yes. And
There's all kinds of, and we are available we're going into our second season or second 6 months, and we have sponsorships available.
Yes, we do. And that's one of those things that they were, Barbara Vitos knew them, suggested them as, that they should sponsor for us. And so they signed on, and I just thought it was kind of ironic that, here I'm the chair on this committee, and I was their first client, and they don't have any other horse clients. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, because you can get workers' comp cheaper that way, because it's almost kind of like a group health insurance policy. So, it ended up cheaper for me to use them as my payroll company because I could join their group workers' comp policy thing, and it saved me money. So,
see, it even works for us, Larry. Crystal said a minute ago, we're all about the connection, communication, and education. And, we spell horse sense with a $sign. So,
oh, really?
that's our deal. Or, one of the things that we want to do is we're trying to connect all of those local businesses with the horse industry. So we have a really good, Crystal and her and Brent and their farm is a good example of how to do that with, one of our new sponsors. So it's working. We're slow, one step at a time, but it's working. So if you'd like to advertise with us, we'd love to have you.
That's awesome. You guys are really bringing the horse industry that we're so familiar with more. I guess we're coming together. The non-horse people and the horse people coming together because of what you're doing.
Well, like I said, it used to be like that. It used to be a seamless part, but the county and the city has grown enough, and the horse industry, different breeds are coming in, and there just had to be that thread there to kind of connect the two of them. So it's a work in progress, but thankful for being able to be on WOCA, and it's a wonderful radio station, and have you it's wonderful having you because, we can kind of work through you to not talk the talk and be able to
because
help
I know
explain.
nothing.
Well, it does help. You bring that non-horse owner perspective.
Yeah, just like if you were teaching me this, I wouldn't know the same thing.
Yeah, let's trade places.
You see, it's a lot more to what you know than what I know. I promise you that. Well, thank you for what you do.
You can look us up on Twitter too, and if you have questions and don't want to call in, but would like to put a question on Facebook or Twitter, then we'll get to those, the following week. So let us know what you're thinking.
Yeah, and all of these shows are videotaped and are placed on the internet, and so they're on the WOCA YouTube channel, I guess
Yes,
is what it's
they're
called.
also on our
and you
Facebook
guys have
page.
them as well, right? So
I'm gonna have to start doing my hair different.
Yeah.
thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
And we'll stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA.
Have a good day.
I'm a different breed. Come on, follow me. We'll make it through.
Broadcast